What's going on, sports card hobby family? We're starting a new segment here that I plan to do every Sunday. I'm looking forward to this. So I see a lot of amazing cards throughout the week. And so what I'm going to do is have this episode be kind of the 10 coolest cards I saw this week, as well as talk about the upcoming product releases for this week. And add value to the audience, WaxStat tracks all of the new product pricing for hobby boxes and blaster boxes and that sort of thing for a lot of the new products, as well as older products as well. Al, my buddy, updates the site multiple times a day. And so waxstat.com is going to be able to kind of help us figure out where stuff is priced, what's a good deal, what's not a good deal, and that sort of thing. Guys, we had our first flag football game yesterday. My first time coaching flag football. I've coached youth soccer, and this is a different experience. Definitely some more preparation needed, I think, going into the following week. I tried to have plays set up. I had the assistant coach kind of handle the defensive side. I had kind of the defensive coordinator. And that a little bit easier as you're kind of just picking out who's going to rush and who's going to stay back and that sort of thing. But on offense, you have to really kind of get creative. And we fell 12-6. First play of the game was probably the best play of the season. I'm not even kidding. I told him, let's go for it all first play. And in this flag football league, you start on the 5-yard line and you have 4 downs to go, 25 yards, and then you have another 4 downs to score. So that's it. You've got 4 downs to go, 25, 4 to score. So it's kind of tricky just trying to figure out what you're running and that sort of thing. So on the first play of the game, I said, let's go for all of it right here. And so our quarterback throws a bomb and it was converted. So I looked like a hero. Everybody was excited. It was fantastic. Now we missed the extra point and the other team did as well, because you're 5 yards out. You have to throw. You can't do a running play 5 yards out. Or you can go for 2, which is 10 or 12 yards out, and you can run, but again, further away and that sort of thing. So we tried to do kind of the quick pass thing, and we just couldn't get it done. We did fall, but it was a great experience, good time, and my son really had a blast. He was upset that we lost, but he did have a good time. Huge thanks to today's video sponsor, DC Sports 87. You want to sell on eBay, but you don't want to deal with all the listing and the shipping and all the stuff that goes along with being a seller, a reseller. I just shoot my stuff off to DC Sports 87. They load everything up, and then I just get payment. It's pretty easy. Check out DC Sports 87. All right, let's get started with the top 10 coolest, best cards I saw this week. The first card on this list is the only one that I purchased myself. So let me just kind of disclose that as well. I didn't buy all these cards or anything like that. I'm not selling these cards, but the first one, I have to share it because it's just so cool and a funny story. Bowling card, Kyle Troop, Leaf, PBA Tour, Fear the Fro inscription. And I had not heard of Kyle Troop before. I followed pro bowling in the past, Walter Ray Williams Jr., Pete Weber, of course, the legend, but Kyle Troop, one of these guys. And Frank, do we have a clip?
Bowling out of Penn Station in Newton, North Carolina, the reigning PBA Player of the Year, Kyle Troop.
Hey, Dave, do you know how many titles Kyle Troop's dad, Guppy, has?
How many?
8.
Nice.
You know how many Kyle has?
How many?
9.
So I think for like 25 or 26 bucks, I picked up one of these Leaf Fear the Fro inscription cards just for fun, because I thought it was just a really cool card. All right, next we've got the 1953 Topps pickups that were shared by Vintage Gold Sports Cards. And this, of course, is just an incredible set. Of course, you got the Jackie, the Mantle, the Maze, and the Satchel Paige are the cards that Vintage Gold Sports Cards had picked up. But what's great about this set, of course, is there's no photos. You know, this is not like they took a picture of the player. These are actual pieces of art. When you come down to these early 50s cards, you know, they're not taking pictures from the game. It is literally portraits of these players that were created by artists. Actually, I think it was REA that had, going back maybe 6 months or so, they had original artwork. And I believe it was 1953 Topps, the original art for it. It was an incredible piece. But that, I think, is a big part of the American history element. The 50s in America is considered to be fantastic time. A lot of people will say, like, hey, that's when people could actually afford to live on one income and that sort of thing. You know, the 50s are looked back on in a similar fashion, I think, to the 80s. Great decades in American history. So that was very cool to see. My buddy Victory Investments showing one of his kind of usual pickups. It's a 2019 Prism Gold Mahomes. It's a PSA 9. These are numbered out of 10, but Victory Investments always does these funny reels on IG. Met him before, great guy, and we keep in touch here and there. But he's hilarious, but he's also a massive Chiefs fan, massive Patrick Mahomes fan, and so he collects these gold prisms from different years. I did ask him, do you have the 2017 rookie gold prism for Mahomes? He does not have that one, but he's got some monstrous cards. He's got some big Mahomes cards as well, so I had to share that. Thought that was a cool card that I did see. Mama Breaks pulled a cool card. Impeccable on-card auto for The Undertaker, numbered out of 25. Wrestling cards are interesting. Some might say, oh, wrestling is not a sports card. Well, you know, it's kind of fringe. Fringe sports, entertainment cards, fine. Those guys are athletes. I know that they draw up and they sketch out what's going to happen beforehand, but there's no denying that these folks are putting their bodies on the line. I mean, they get hurt, they get injured. Guys and gals out there wrestling are certainly athletes, no doubt about that. So I just thought, hey, this is a great looking card. Undertaker Auto, numbered out of 25 from Impeccable. And that's a new release, it looked like, from Mama Breaks. All right, Dub Mentality on Twitter shared, and this one just gave me some nostalgia a little bit. 1990 Hops? 1990 Hoops. David Robinson, the Admiral, Rookie of the Year card. And of course, this is the second year. It's in a PSA 10. Dub Mentality showed it off. And I think people forget just how badass David Robinson was going back in the early 90s. I mean, there was a time period. I remember when he had scored 70 points, I think, in a game, or 71. He was the best player in basketball for there was a couple of years there. And I know you're going to say, hey, that's Michael Jordan era. I get all that, but David Robinson was a beast. I mean, completely unstoppable. And I think if I remember correctly, he was just finishing out his career, Robinson, with Tim Duncan coming on. And I remember, was it the Twin Towers they called them, where it was David Robinson and Tim Duncan as he first came on in, 97, I think was Duncan. You know, those guys were unstoppable. And that was it was kind of cool to watch that all progress. David Robinson actually was in the Navy, and that's what kind of delayed his rookie card coming out, that 89 Hoops. I just remember that 89 Hoops. He had the couple different versions, the one where he's shooting, I think, a free throw, and the other one where he's holding up the jersey. Those were such huge cards at card shows. I remember going to the mall, and it was, it's the typical, the Jose Canseco, the Mark McGuire cards, David Robinson cards. I mean, those were the chase cards going back to my childhood. And people are like, well, what do you mean in the mall? When people actually went to shopping malls, when that was actually a thing, there was card shows all the time, going back to 89, 90, 91, 92, 93. Like every few weeks, the shopping mall would have just tables and tables and tables everywhere. It would just be a giant card show there in the shopping mall. And I just remember those cards being huge. So I liked it when I scrolled on down, I saw that Robinson. It just reminded me of that time period. Robert Edward Auctions has a huge card, a 1933 Sports Kings Red Grange. I want to talk about Red Grange for a second here. I do collect vintage football, and this is a card that's definitely on my bucket list. Really, really nice copy, SGC 3.5. When we look at vintage baseball card collectors, a lot of what they're collecting is the history. They didn't watch Mickey Mantle play, they didn't watch Babe Ruth play, but there's an American history element. Before football was really king, baseball was America's pastime. When we go back to the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, baseball was the sport in the U.S. And when you look at Red Grange, I was looking at just kind of some of the history on this guy, and the importance of Red Grange is that he really made professional football mainstream. So he went to Illinois, basically unstoppable at Illinois, running the ball. He ran 4 touchdowns against Michigan, powerhouse Michigan, in the 20s. He ran 4 touchdowns in the first quarter. This guy, he went to the Chicago Bears, which of course that adds to the to the legend of this guy. But the first time he came out to play, there was 36,000 people that came to watch that NFL game for the Bears. His debut was 36,000 people, and that was the most ever that had ever watched an NFL game. And this is going back to 1925 when he suited up for the Bears. So if you're a card collector and you're collecting kind of the American history element, because that's what a lot of vintage is. You're collecting vintage, you're collecting kind of the guys that came before, the legends that started it all, and playing really for the love of the game. There wasn't huge money back then. There just wasn't. Red Grange, of course, he was trying to negotiate. This is back in the 20s, 30s. Some of these guys were trying to negotiate. I saw something where Red Grange, he said if he was going to come out for the Bears or continue to play for the Bears or something, he wanted a third of the team ownership and then some dollar amount or something. But could you imagine if Red Grange was able to acquire a third of the Chicago Bears, back then, and then held, and then his family had a piece of it or so. I mean, that would just be incredible. It's not necessarily going to happen today, tomorrow, next week, but that is a card that's on the bucket list again, just for the history that was Red Grange and his importance to the NFL as a whole. And now, of course, you've got it as a tens of billions dollar league. It's incredible. Next up, speaking of the guys that came after Red Grange that are thanking Red Grange, 2015 Flawless, Tom Brady on card. This is second year Flawless for football. And the thing that's just nice about this one is you've got a game used patch, 1 of 1. This one was shared by Best Cards Ever on Twitter. It's owned by Sports Cards Rock, ROK on IG. And it's just an amazing card. It's a 1 of 1. It kind of like checks all the boxes. 1 of 1, game used patch. It's on-card autograph for Tom Brady. These are cards that are just way out of my price range, but when I see them, I'm just like, man, those early Flawless, they really kind of nailed the sports card with the memorabilia. And then, of course, it got watered down where patches aren't associated with the player and that sort of thing. But these early years, just incredible. All right, Topps shared, on the top side, they shared this Griffey patch auto card. It's Topps Definitive. I love the card. I don't know. I can't see the back of it, so I don't know if that's just kind of like a patch that came off of a Fanatics jersey. I'm going to guess that it is. I'm going to guess that that's not game worn because it's, of course, the Seattle Mariners logo, and it's just beautiful, and it's an on-card Griffey auto. Griffey's got arguably one of the best autographs. He's got such a great autograph for baseball players. He's got a lot of autographs, but I thought this card just stood out. I thought it was cool. Topps shared it, and it's like, man, that's an incredible, incredible card. All right, next, Tiger Woods gearing up. Is he going to overtake Jack Nicklaus for Majors victories? He's sitting at 15 and Jack Nicklaus has got 18. We got a Masters coming up. If Tiger Woods had been healthy this whole time, he would have broke this record. No doubt at all. Zero doubt whatsoever. And this card, you talk about checking all the boxes. If you're a Tiger Woods fan or just a golf fan, exquisite, event worn, Sunday red swoosh, numbered out of 25. So that's from his Sunday polo. That's the shirt he shows up in to win on Sundays. It's the killer red that Tiger Woods is known so much for, and it's the Nike swoosh, numbered out of 25. Tiger Woods, another guy that has a great autograph. So this is, I don't have any Tiger Woods autos, but this is the kind of card where I'm just like, man, that would be incredible to own. Because again, you just have all the boxes checked here. All right, another one of these, some people don't really like this. So this is a 2012 Eminence on card. I really like the chunky gold auto on this card. And some people are not crazy about this. They don't like kind of that chunky autograph. It's on card. It's 14 karat gold. It's a logo, man. 1 out of 1. I can't imagine what this thing goes for. But I was just thinking, if you're a Kobe fan, this has got to just be an incredible card for a Kobe collector. I don't know what this sort of thing fetches, but it just stood out to me like, man, this thing is unbelievable. All right, and last but certainly not least, my buddy Darth Brezzo, he shared, I thought this was kind of funny. We'll share a non-sports card here on Sundays as well. He shared a Lost prop card with a piece of the plane. If you watch the show Lost, such a great show, and this is from season 3, where there's a piece of the plane that was in the season, that was in the show as part of this prop card. And again, when you get into that pop culture entertainment space, possibilities are really endless for cool cards. I keep pushing like, man, I really hope that was my hope for Zero Cool. Is Zero Cool is going to come out and have all this kind of non-sports entertainment cards. It's going to be unbelievable. Somebody's got to pick up the ball there and run with it, whether that's going to be Panini, whether it's going to be Leaf, or whoever it is. I know Leaf does all that stuff, does some of it. I would like to see it expanded out for sure. All right, now let's hit quickly here on the new releases coming up this week. We got Upper Deck Hockey Bedard collection set on the 10th. We got 2024 Topps Heritage Baseball. Panini Origins Basketball is coming out as well. And like I said, my buddy Al at Waxstat, hits his site, waxstat.com. If you're looking to buy that stuff, but you're like, I don't really know where to get it from at the best price, he's tracking it all there. So it's free to use. Just go on there and check it out. All right, friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.